What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be doing another killstreak breakdown, this time taking a look at a 60 killstreak with Dooku on Yavin 4. Now, with all that's been going on lately, I have been pretty flat out, and unfortunately I just haven't had a chance to really play for a few weeks now, and so this footage is actually a few months old, so I just thought I'd mention that in case some of you guys have already seen this gameplay before. But anyway, with that all out of the way, we are going to jump straight into this killstreak. So the cards that I was using in this killstreak, I believe, was Balanced Duelist and Masterful Duelist, which is the two cards that give you the extra damage and the faster cooldown for Duelist. And then I think the third card was Sith Control, which is just the one that gives you the extra health regen. Now, lately I've actually kind of stopped using Masterful Duelist as much. It's not that it's a bad card or anything, I've just kind of been changing it up. So it's not necessarily, you know, the best card combination, but it does still work really well, and that extra damage is actually really helpful, mostly against reinforcements and stuff like that. Now, at the start of a round like this, pretty much what I'm trying to do is just cut off any enemies. As you can see, we've kind of taken out the first two objectives anyway, and that third one is like almost halfway planted as well. So pretty much what I'm trying to do here is just stop the flow of enemies going to that other side, as well as obviously just getting kills, which is fun on its own, but it is also pretty helpful for your team as well. You can see these guys trying to start pushing over to that other side, and it's like 3/4 done, so there's really no chance that they're going to get it anyway. But if it was just planted, for example, it is still a good idea to just try and, you know, cut off the flow so that the rest of your teammates can essentially take out the ones who are close to the objective, and then you're already cutting off the flow for those who are starting to respawn. Now, Obi-Wan decided he wanted to try and push me here, and you can see that I'm just kind of walking back. I'm not really looking for a fight here. Luckily, there was a few teammates to try and sort of help out, and I dealt a bit of damage, and they sort of took him out for me. So early on like this, I'm not generally trying to, you know, look for hero fights. It's only really something I do if, you know, I'm really low on health or like that. They're trying to push me. You're obviously going to defend yourself, but generally speaking, early on, I'm not really the type to, you know, go looking for hero fights, just because the amount of frustrating deaths I have early on, it's just not worth it. Now that we've pushed into the second phase, I'm pretty much just trying to go through the, you know, the forest here and just trying to clear out any enemies that I can see, trying to help the teammates push up. I generally head over to this temple first. I'm not really sure why, to be honest, because they're both sort of equally hard to take, but I generally find this one, you know, this is the one that I tend to go to. So I'm heading over here, and again, I'm just trying to clear out this objective for not only myself to get in there, but just the teammates as well to try and push in, because at the end of the day, especially when you're on offense, you kind of do have to play the objective, because otherwise you're not going to get to the end of the, you know, the end of the map, and then therefore you're probably not going to get any decent of a streak. You can see that Anakin sort of came there, and luckily I took him out. With Duelist, Dooku is an absolute beast. He's pretty much, I'm not going to say unbeatable, but he's a, you know, he has a very big advantage in a 1v1. So whenever you do see enemy saber heroes, especially on the, you know, on an objective like that, just activate Duelist, and it's going to be pretty hard for them to, you know, especially someone like that who is just swing spamming, they're going to have a pretty rough time. So we've kind of, you know, cleared off that objective a little bit. You can see that the other objective is pretty much all but taken, and so really the only focus right now is just to make sure that we get this one, because like I said, if you can't move on, then the kill streak's going to end up pretty short, because you can't really get a massive kill streak in, you know, a matter of 2 phases. So really I'm just trying to focus on playing the objective, trying to stay at least, you know, not necessarily on the objective, but just close enough to it so that if I need to jump on, I can, and mostly just trying to cut off the sides. You can see here this little alleyway, like the little flanks like that, trying to just cut them off from enemies who are going to flank, and then let your teammates do the, you know, the work on the objective, I guess. Now, you can see here that me and Vader were in a bit of a fight with Obi-Wan there, and I ended up getting actually pretty distracted, and you can see that a few enemies got in here. So that's one thing, try not to let enemy heroes distract you. It is a bit hard sometimes, because if they're attacking you, you can't really just, you know, forget about them, but it is always best to try and just not be too focused on them. Now, this Obi-Wan kept trying to sort of push me, and luckily you can see here that he ended up kind of swing spamming. The swing spam fest with Dooku, you're never really going to lose that. So I nearly did there. You can see I'm at 54 health, and that's actually why I decided to use this kill streak, because I just wanted to show that you can get down on, you know, low health and still sort of survive. So with Obi-Wan taken out now, it is obviously a bit safer, and like I said earlier, I'm now just trying to sort of cut off the sides, and as you can see, there's 6 teammates already on that objective, so there's no point me just sort of hanging out in there. The best thing you can do as a hero, depending on how many people are on the objective, I guess, but the best thing you can generally do is just try and, I guess, hover around the outside is probably the best way to explain it. Just try and cut off anyone running in. You can see here that there is a couple more enemies trying to make their way in there, and because we've got so many teammates in there, it's generally, you know, they're going to be set up well enough that you don't need to be in there trying to help them. So we've pretty much captured this now. It's obviously, you know, what is it, about 3/4 or even more captured. So really what I'm trying to do again is just sort of patrol these outside areas and just make sure that no one else is getting in. But as you can see, we've sort of all but captured this. Luckily I kind of stumbled across Chewy here and he was already on low health, so that's pretty much a free kill, free 100 HP, which is very helpful. And at this point, really what I am trying to do is just get some health back. So you can see here now that we've pushed into the next phase, and there's always going to be the, you know, enemies kind of falling back. The best thing you can do sort of in this, I guess, transition phase when they're sort of falling back and you're, you know, getting ready to move forward, is just try and take out any stragglers who are running away, because obviously you need to get some health moving into this third phase. So you can see here I'm not too low on health or anything, but if you are low on health, then it's definitely like a priority to try and just cut off any stragglers who are trying to run back. Now heading into this this third phase, I do see a lot of people sort of struggling on, you know, where they should be going and stuff like that, and it is pretty hard. There's a lot of different angles you can get shot from. What I do pretty much every single time is go into these tunnels. That's generally going to be safer down here, and even if there's a lot of enemies, you can kind of hold your own down in this sort of close quarters area. So if you're not too sure where to be headed, then definitely try and aim for that tunnel area, and yeah, from there you can kind of push up without the risk of a heap of enemies shooting at you and stuff like that. Now, once I'm up on this objective, pretty much what I'm trying to do is just essentially clear it so my teammates can get on it. You can see right now it's really just me and Vader. You can try and cap it yourself, but the thing is, if you're doing that, you're kind of wasting, you know, yourself as a hero. Not that it's not really a waste, because you are capping the objective, but heroes are obviously much better off trying to get kills and defend the area rather than being up there. So you can see I'm pretty hesitant to get on it, mostly just because there is a lot of teammates around and I'm kind of just, you know, waiting for one of them to get on it so I can more defend them rather than me being up there and, you know, these guys dying. Now you can see there, a nice little thing I did was just block and then wait until he was, I think he was reloading or, you know, cooling down his weapon. That's a nice little tip if you are in a 1v1, you don't want to lose any health, just to block until they essentially have to do something where they can't shoot, whether it's a roll or whatever. And then if you dash towards them, you're going to close ground really quickly. Now, obviously, right here, I did get on the objective after a bit, and then Vader ended up taking it over. So it's never really ideal when you and another hero have to try and take one objective, because it is kind of just a waste when you think about it. But at the end of the day, you do have to take that objective. So we're kind of just doing whatever we can at the moment. Vader ended up jumping off, but then now you can see I think there are a couple other teammates up there. So now that someone is capping that, really all I want to do is just try and defend him and try and, you know, cut off anyone that's going to be coming from this direction. And as you can see, he's pretty much all but got that. There's one dude trying to get up there, but luckily my lightning reach was way longer than it usually is, so I took out that guy pretty easy. So you can see now we only have that one objective left. I kind of got a glimpse of this guy running down here. I don't know how he didn't see me on the minimap, but you can see there that I used the third person to my advantage and kind of, you know, watched him from around the corner. So that's a good little tip there as well, although most people are going to see you on the minimap anyway, but I guess that guy was just kind of a little bit clueless. Now, like I said, we have one objective left. You'd think I'd be pushing over there, but like I said earlier, I'm trying to really just cut off the spawns. There's no point me being on the objective. So really what I'm trying to do is just essentially get as many kills as I can, trying to slow them from getting in, and as you can see, it's worked. Me and Vader have just kind of cut off their spawns, and now we did cap the objective. So once again, moving on to the phase, you know, I'm pretty much trying to cut off any stragglers, just get as many kills to essentially, at this point, just help the kill streak. There's really I don't need to get health back or anything. There's an Anakin here that, you guys know me, I do not like Anakin, so like I said, I generally don't chase heroes, but when it's Anakin, I kind of get this, like, I just see red and I can't help it. Luckily, right here, there was a couple of explosives and that door just opened at the right time, so you can see I kind of got in behind them before they really knew that I could, because I don't think anyone knew that door was open just yet. So you can see that I'm trying to just make the most of the flanks right here, and heading into the last phase, generally my, I guess, safety meter is pretty much turned off at this point. I'm generally like not caring as much about surviving. If I die, then I don't really care that much, because essentially I just want to try and, one, get the kill streak as high as I can, and two, I'm trying to really just, you know, help take the objectives. You can see like these little flanks that I'm talking about really do help you get a couple of multis like there. It is kind of risky. You can see I'm like down to half health, so it's not something I'd recommend doing all the time, but as I said, at this point I'm generally not that fussed if I die, so I'm kind of playing it a little bit more risky, I guess you would say. Now, just here in a second, I noticed that this team starts sort of capping that the left objective, so I'll decide to head over there, but you can see there is a trip mine here, so I kind of, generally I would run through that, but I decided that it probably isn't worth taking like 200 damage just to get through there, so I decided to come to the other side instead. And honestly, sometimes that is the best option anyway, because a lot of the time when your team is capping an objective, all the enemies are going to run there and try and defend it, so a lot of the time you can kind of push into the other objective and get a bit of a head start on that. And as you can see here, there's only a couple of enemies here, so luckily it ended up working out. I saw this Yoda here with half health and I just could not resist. I needed that health back, and then that also allows my team to get in. You can see there was a bunch of enemies, a bunch of teammates, sorry, sort of waiting there to get through, because obviously Yoda must have been kind of like cutting them off. So now my teammates have got into this area, and again I'm just trying to cut off the spawn and let them take it. Honestly, I probably should have stayed here a bit longer. You can see, if you look at that objective little marker thing, you can see we stopped capping it. So I guess a few enemies got in there and took out my teammates, and that was probably on me for not staying in there and defending that one. But yeah, now they're both sort of half done, and we're looking pretty good. Luckily, that guy ran straight into the lightning. And right here, this is where I end up getting in a bit of trouble again. Like I said earlier, I see red whenever I see Anakin, and it pretty much gets me killed at this point. I really just, I don't know what it is. Keep in mind, this is a few months ago when he was kind of, a lot more OP. Now he's actually not that bad, but back when this footage is from, I really just could not stand him. So you can see that I'm now got myself into a bit of a pickle, and I end up just not holding my block and literally just die from pretty much no reason. So you can see that pretty much my own mistakes are what got me killed. So at the end of the day, there's really no one else to blame for that death other than myself. So anyway guys, that is going to do it for this one. If you did enjoy the video, then make sure to leave a like down below to help support the channel, and be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any more Battlefront 2 videos or live streams. If you guys do have any heroes that you would like to see breakdowns for, then let me know down below. I am hoping to sort of cover a few that I've already done guides for, so that they can kind of be, I guess, paired together and be even more helpful. But I will just see what you guys want to see and try going for some streaks with those characters. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Crush them.